Most e-commerce brands are butchering their product releases because they don't have a solid method behind them. They hype it up on Instagram, maybe send one launch email, and then crickets. What they don't realize is that 80% of the revenue from a successful drop is not going to come from ads or your organic strategy. It's going to come from your CRM and from email marketing. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact strategy that the top e-commerce brands out there use for their successful product releases so that you can do the same. Let's get into it. So you can see here, this is how we do e-commerce product releases the right way. So you can see here from one of our clients some pretty insane results from their Klaviyo account. This really you would not see outside of product releases or a sale. If you do product releases the correct way, you can have this sort of sustained enough output through a short period of time where you can drive the maximum contribution possible, not just from one email, but actually from a couple done the right way. So we're going to show you how you do these. This document is down in the description as always. You can follow us here on other channels. These are the two founders of KMH, and these are some of our best pieces of content that you can find here. You can pop your email as well down in the description of the video to get 3 free guides every single week. So before, product releases are one of the best ways to spike your revenue, your LTV, and keep people in your funnel as a brand. It's also a great way to drive a lot of new customer acquisition from people who have opted in for email but maybe haven't made that first step towards a purchase. Some of that newness can really help you drive acquisition over time as well, and actually get a lot of new customer revenue out of the CRM for people who maybe have signed up a couple of weeks or even a couple of months ago but haven't yet pulled the trigger. Now, the thing is, a lot of brands don't execute releases well and they miss out on a lot of revenue as a result. So we're going to show you a 3-step format, which you're probably only following step 2 and not actually doing step 1 or 3, which most brands are doing. Do not feel bad about this. It's just most people don't actually have a launch strategy whatsoever when it comes to their email marketing. This 3-step format is we're going to hype up the release. We're actually going to do the release then, and we're going to do a follow-up, but we're going to do this in quite a specific way. It works extraordinarily well across email and SMS, and we're going to show you how you do this. So step 1 is hype. The first step in actually increasing the revenue of your release starts way before the release itself, right? We want to let people know that there is something coming up because, they're not going to see every bit of communication that we have as a brand. They could miss our emails, even our engaged people can miss those, based on the time of the day that they come on or a couple of other different factors. There are many reasons that someone could miss one of our emails. People live busy lives. They're not exactly 100% focused on everything that we do. We're seeing things from the other side of the curtain as marketers, and we often don't realize people have busy lives. Someone calls them, they have, something on, they're traveling, they're moving house or whatever it might be. We need to realize that we need to have a couple of shots on goal here to let them know of what's happening. Even if they're a lover of our brand, we want to get a couple of chances to let them know what's being released. With this hyping strategy, just around 1 to 3 days before the release date, we want to send 1 to 2 emails letting people know that there's something coming, right? We want to build some hype here and get impressions on us before the actual release goes live. The elements of good teaser emails are we want to tell people to be on the lookout for something big, tell them when the drop is coming, and solicit SMS signups so we have another chance to contact them, right? We have another avenue in which we can contact them so they will definitely see the release, right? Anything that follows these principles is going to work extremely well. You just want to make sure that you're following these 3, right? We don't want to give people exactly what's coming. We want to keep some hype, we want to keep some suspense and not let them know, it's going to be this exact product that's coming out, right? But you can see here, this email from Strapsicle, really, really nicely done. We can see something is coming out. People can join the waitlist. And here on the waitlist, if you click through to that, you would actually get an SMS sign up form. So you can actually see we're going to solicit more SMS signups here. If someone has given us their email, then or given us their phone number, I should say, then they're going to get a 100% chance of seeing this. I got this. I've been on their email list for a long time. I thought the email is very good. We definitely want to put in preview text for whoever's managing their emails for sure. But other than that, just, with the email in general, structurally is really, really strong, and I think you would get quite a lot of SMS signups from an email like this, which then once you go to the actual release, of course, you're going to have 100% of the people you can send an SMS to see that there's a release. Whereas with an email, it might be maybe 45, 50% at a maximum, right? Here again, I love seeing these as well by plain text or mostly text, right? This isn't exactly full plain text, but you can see here the way that they've kind of turned up the suspense is extremely, extremely nice. You can tap for a sneak peek and look at actually what's coming out. Really good way to just drive up engagement. Getting a high click rate in this email as well, getting people to engage with our emails is really good in general. And so I just really, really like this email. This is probably, if I had to go between the two, I would say I prefer this one to the previous. As we go on here and see the 3rd hype email, I really like this because we're showing exactly when the product is released. We use a countdown timer. It's building up a ton of hype and you can't really miss this. The second someone opens up this email, even if they just click into the email and click out, they know exactly what's happening. It's very, very explicit, which I think for things like a product release, because there's such a clear revenue generating opportunity and because there's such a bit of excitement for that for your list, people who enjoy the brand and who've purchased spreadsheets from me before. It's, you know, something very much worth telling every single person about. I like the kind of explicit nature of this kind of an email, just letting people know exactly what's happening, keeping it short and to the point. And yeah, I would like to make this email more clickable. I would like to have a long button if it were me who'd made the email, but still, I really like the kind of hero section of this. You know, I don't think things need to be like 100% prettily designed for a product release like this. I think this is actually really well executed as an email here. So you can see here, we're telling people to be on the lookout for something big. We're telling them when that's coming, and where possible, we're soliciting SMS signups, right? Absolutely key to have all three of them there. If you do that, you're going to have a very good, successful release email. If you want to do a couple of release emails as well, that's absolutely fine. If it's a big release, if it's, let's say, a whole new collection, it's not just, you know, one product that you're releasing, then yeah, hype it up. You've a bit more to talk about there. You can kind of hint at a couple of different products coming. So each product can maybe have its own email. And yeah, let people know there's something coming, let them know when it's coming, and get more phone numbers for that information. So that's the hype phase, right? We want to be doing that around 1 to 3 days before the release. Then it comes to the release. With our release emails, we want to make them short and punchy. Once again, when it's a clear revenue generating opportunity, we can just make the emails really explicit and to the point. We don't really need to do a ton of selling in the copy. There is plenty of reason for them to click, for them to have interest, because it's a new product, especially if they're past customers. This is just, yeah, one of the clearest revenue generating opportunities you can possibly get. So within this email, keeping it short and punchy, we want to call out the new product, define 2 to 3 unique selling points, and then use a little bit of scarcity by saying there's some limited quantities. Especially, you know, if there really are limited quantities, we can really explicitly call this out. If there isn't, we can just kind of hint at it. So a couple of other things, depending on your kind of branding, your positioning, and kind of how aggressive that allows you to go. You can go for some countdown timers. You can hit an SMS message alongside the email. I'm going to show you some example release texts as well here in just a second. And you can put a release post on social media as well, just to juice it up even more, right? So the key here, it's like we said, it's inherently interesting. So we don't want to say any more than we have to say. There are new product releases that are coming. If you're interested, here you go. Click this link, right? So you can see here, nice high call to action here, nice and simple. Just showing off a couple of new product releases. Very, very simple, clean email. You can see here the exact same. It's more for a supplement brand. And for a supplement brand, which will often use longer copy, you can still see here this email is nice and short. We're mostly leaning on design to kind of get our message across here, right? So you can see here, we just want to keep these emails nice and short, right? New product has been released. Here's a button, you know, and you'll still see some extremely high click-through rates. You don't need to do any more than that. I promise you. Keep the email short and punchy and just make them very clickable from a structure perspective. Similar here, latest arrivals, keeping it short, nice and short, showing off the products here more so in the fashion space. Better to just show the products rather than tell. And here, this is probably my favorite of all of them. You can see here just a short, direct email, nice and to the point. And yeah, that's all there is to it. I don't really believe in keeping those emails very long. Just have one clear call to action, and you'll be good to go from there. Then we get to step 3, right? So we've gone from these hype emails, which basically let people know something's coming, let them know when it's coming, and then solicit more SMS signups. We then go to the short and punchy release emails. We can probably do a quick kind of 2 release emails. If we're releasing a collection, so we can just show off different products there and treat them both as release emails. We just want to keep that very short, make it very clickable from a structure POV. So a nice central call to action, clearly showing off the products with really good imagery and not doing any more than we have to, not overdoing it, right? Then we go to the reminder. This is where a huge amount of money can be made, and it's probably where we see people miss out the most amount of money. Everyone will do a release email, but they don't ever hype them up or do the reminders. But sometimes, I mean, I've seen reminders in plain text do more money than the original release email, and so many people don't do reminders, let alone do them in plain text. This is a wonderful chance to use plain text, by the way. I'm a huge fan of plain text, as you guys will have definitely known if you've been watching the videos for a little while now. I love plain text. I think it's criminally underused, even though I've been talking about it for 4 years about how it's underused. Here, switching up the medium allows us to get a second bite out of the cherry, because it keeps a little bit of novelty to our messaging, even if the fundamental message isn't changing. The way that we're presenting it is, and that gives us novelty, right? So we want to get a different reaction at the list and another spike in sales. So imagine you're getting a ton of designed emails through to your email inbox every single day. Let's say there are a number of brands in there that you really like, some you don't really remember signing up for, and you get designed emails. It screams, you know, that they're trying to sell you something. This doesn't, though. You get this in plain text and it kind of flies under the radar. You're like, well, what's this? This is, especially if it's as short as this, where we're just saying, in case you missed it, we released a new product on Tuesday, meet this, we know you love it, and both of these are linked, right? These will often get a higher click-through rate than the original email, and you can knock this out in like 5 or 10 minutes, right? Just to kind of to edit it down and copy cheap it and make sure it's crisp and ready. You know, here again, like this is from that brand, that brand we saw above, the kind of, what was the name of it? Negative, it's the name of the brand. You can see here, nice and short, these would be linked as well, right? so short. I love this email as well. I think these short plain text emails for releases, they often will do more revenue than the release, which says a lot. No one does these and they're so easy to do. It's such low hanging fruit for so many brands out there. So if you take one thing from this video, it's even for, sale reminders or for new product release reminders, please throw some plain text into your mix there. It's a minimal design example, but even so, while I like this email and it shows off the products clearly, I would be going plain text every single day of the week. So this method leads to results like the ones below, i.e. multiple revenue generation events and sustained success for the launch. Here, you can actually see here, this would be chronological. This is actually a reminder email. This is a release email. So you can see here, it does $1,000 more, even though, you would think that this would have kind of gotten all of the kind of low hanging fruit sales, if we want to call it that all of our most engaged people here who love the brand the most, that kind of, zone one of our kind of customer list, if we want to call it that most of these will have purchased from this email. But now we can see here, that this follow-up email, after it's all said and done, has done more revenue, so pretty crazy. So we go here to the outcomes. You can see this method leads to results like the ones below, i.e. multiple revenue generation events and sustained success for the launch. So you can see here some pretty nice click-through rates here, which is pretty cool. These are for two separate brands, so these are kind of to two separate points of the list. But I think for a lot of you guys watching this for your brand or for your clients, you'll actually see those follow-up emails will often do a lot more revenue. Not a lot more, but they can often outperform the main release email, which is crazy, because you would think with this kind of first email that would get all of the kind of zone one kind of people in your engaged list, of people who like your brand the most, your biggest super fans. But no, it's pretty crazy when you use this strategy. When you hype it up, when you do the release properly, and then you get second bite out of the cherry with your follow-up releases. So bonus here, which I wanted to put in here and I touched on above, is using SMS, right? SMS is just maximizing the impact of the release itself. Just adding a quick text. I'd really only do this for the release, right? And kind of maybe a follow-up text, but I'd be mainly doing it for the release. If you're going to be doing a follow-up text, make sure you exclude purchasers in the last 3 days, that kind of a direction, because you're going to be sending that follow-up within 3 days of the first text. Just got some examples here from Jones's Road, a brand I really like. No need to get too fancy here. Don't do MMS either. Keep your costs nice and low here, and just a couple of simple texts thrown in here. I would really do this mainly for the release. Don't do a hype text. Don't spend your credits on that. I mainly do a release and a follow-up there, and you'll be good to go. And there we have it. So this is the entire product release guide. We've covered how to think about releasing products, hyping up a release, handling the launch correctly, how to follow up to drive more revenue, and how to pull SMS into the mix. If you use this strategy, you'll be getting at least double the revenue that you usually get out of all of your product releases. I really want to see many more people who follow this channel doing this, because I see so many brands just drop in with a haphazard email saying that something released, when really these are some of your biggest revenue generating opportunities in really the whole year, definitely in the quarters that you're releasing a lot of products. These should be huge events within your marketing calendar that you're making the absolute most of. When you have a new product release, you need to capitalize and make the absolute most out of it, because there's so much revenue that you could be getting out of there. I mean, if you're a brand that's normally doing 25, 30K off one of these releases, imagine if you were doing 50 or 60, it would just completely change the game. And if you're getting that out of your CRM, the profit margin on that kind of revenue is just far higher than any kind of new customer acquisition that you'll be driving through social ads or anything like that. So as you know, this document is down in the description. You can sign up to the email list here and connect with us on other platforms. If you need more help, you can book in a quick chat with ourselves. And yeah, this video is obviously part of a broader series of email and SMS and lifecycle marketing content that we do on our channel. If you want to get the absolute most out of lifecycle marketing for your brand and learn all the best strategies that we use across our 7, 8, and even a couple of 9-figure clients now, you can click on this video right here to get a full course on how to do email and SMS marketing in 2025. I'll see you there.